it's perplexing to me. I think I'm starting to lose my mind at how crazy all of this stuff is going. The conspiracies are out of control. The lack of support, love, and commitment, or I would say integrity as it relates to Charlie Kirk, his family, and TPUSA, the stuff that's being said is so inappropriate and so nonsensical to me. Out of just respect for Charlie's life and legacy, I don't understand why people are coming up with these conspiracies. They're coming after Erica. They're coming after Turning Point USA. It's just mind-boggling to me.
All right, joining me today is the host of the Officer Tatum Show, my old friend Brandon Tatum. Brandon, welcome back to the Rubin Report.
Hey, Rubin, thank you for having me, man.
It's been a long time since you've been on the show, but it's been an even longer time since we've seen each other in person. And I'm wondering if you remember. I think I know the exact last time, and there's a reason I'm asking you up top. Can you jog your brain and see if you can figure it out? We've done a lot of...
My memory is so doggone bad, it's insane. So I don't have a clue, but I feel like it's been a long time, Dave.
It has been a long time. We've done plenty of events together over the years, but I think the last time I saw you or you saw me, and there's a reason I'm mentioning this, was at Candace Owens' wedding. And we were sat between you and your wife and Charlie Kirk and his then girlfriend, Erica. And I thought that would be an interesting way to start the show today because obviously, to the backdrop of about 2 weeks since Charlie's assassination, everything's been kind of crazy. Candace has clearly gone in her own direction. How do you feel about generally, before we'll get into all the political stuff and everything else, but how do you feel generally about what's going on in our space at the moment and the personalities and obviously losing Charlie and just all the stuff that we're all kind of going through, just like you and I, we go through this stuff real time on camera. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, Dave, it's perplexing to me. I think I'm starting to lose my mind at how crazy all of this stuff is going. The conspiracies are out of control. The lack of support, love, and commitment, or I would say integrity as it relates to Charlie Kirk, his family, and TPUSA, the stuff that's being said is so inappropriate and so nonsensical to me. Out of just respect for Charlie's life and legacy, I don't understand why people are coming up with these conspiracies. They're coming after Erica. They're coming after Turning Point USA. It's just mind-boggling to me. And I've never experienced anything like this and I haven't been doing this probably as long as you, Dave, but in the last, 6 years or 7 years of me doing content online, I've never seen anything so crazy. Also, my support of Israel, I'm a Zionist. People have their own opinions. You don't have to be a Zionist. You don't have to like Benjamin Netanyahu. I would never once go on somebody's page and accuse them of being paid by somebody to have an opinion. I don't go on people's page and talk about their opinions about Israel anyway. Yeah. Majority of what I do is defend myself. And to see people coming out against me, celebrities, people in my DMs, they're making the declaration that I'm getting paid. It's insane to me.
I've seen, I did a quick scan of your Twitter feed right before you jumped on, and just some of the things, people say horrible things to me all the time, and it's just part of the game. We all know that. But I mean, just saying awful racist, actually racist stuff to you. I mean, and these are people that are public people, not just anonymous nobodies, and it's just crazy. We'll get to the Israel stuff in just a sec. But I want a little bit more on Charlie for a moment, because we met through Turning Point years ago. As I said, we sat next to each other at the wedding with Erica and Charlie. You were, right? You were the urban ambassador for Turning Point. Is that not currently?
No. They dissolved that position and made it just more universal. And so when I left that position, I was no longer employed by Turning Point, but I've been working with them in partnership to do events on campus and all of that ever since then. So I have been working with Turning Point or for Turning Point since 2017 all the way till today.
Got it. So tell me a little bit about your relationship with Charlie and just the human side that you've been dealing with for the last 2 weeks. Because you're right, we've seen. I've tried to avoid a lot of that. The people using it for their own advantage and leaking text messages, all this horrible stuff. But you knew him quite well.
Yeah, I knew him pretty well. Charlie to me was one of those guys, and most people have relationships with people like this where you don't text every single day, but you have that respect mutually man to man of when you need me, I'm here. If you ever need things, I have your support. I'm fighting for you on my side. And we don't have to text every day. So I don't have a bunch of text threads of me and Charlie going back and forth every day. But we had a really close relationship. There's never been a time that Charlie has ever reached out to me and asked me to do something for him or for Turning Point, and I never said no. He's the only person in the movement that I've never said no to, because I respect him. I loved him as a brother. He's always had my back and I've always had his back. So we had a good relationship. So when he died, it was traumatizing for me instantaneously. I mean, I remember, I would never forget the moment that my team showed me, because what happened was Fox called me first. I had no idea that this had happened. Fox called me and they said, hey, we want you to come on the show. Can you come on now? Charlie just got shot. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I don't want to come on. I want nothing to do with your show right now until you tell me what you mean Charlie got shot. What are you saying to me? Is he okay? And my heart dropped. Now, I saw the video from a distance and it looked like Charlie got shot in the shoulder and he kind of leaned off to the side. And so I was very optimistic about it. I said, you know what? He got shot. He's probably going to recover. Everything's going to be okay. Charlie's going to make it. We'll pray for him. And then obviously the horrific moment that I never saw, but my team saw first, was a close-up shot of what happened. And they literally gasped. And I said, don't show me. I can't. I don't even want to see it. I can't watch it. And I went on to do my show.
You're a former police officer, by the way, so it's not like you're unaccustomed to seeing some terrible stuff.
Well, I'll tell you this. That's one of the most terrible, heart-wrenching moments or things that I've ever seen in my life, even in law enforcement. And I've seen some of the craziest things that you've ever seen. But to see what happened to Charlie in front of the world was one of the worst things that I've ever seen. I could not imagine somebody being in person and having to deal with that. His security team, the video team that was literally watching it happen to him. I can't imagine that. And so I was horrified at what happened. And it really hurt me, man. I mean, on the show, the first time my wife ever seen me cry, ever, was when I cried because of the thought of Charlie losing his life, a young man who had a lot of promise, who was just a good dude. There's a lot of shady and shisty people who have bad intentions in our movement on our side and the other. And those go and act with ill intentions. They hate other people and they project that hate on other people to get clout. Charlie wasn't that guy. If anything, I wanted him to go harder on certain topics with people, but he was a good guy. They went after a decent individual that's willing to bridge the gap with them, not somebody that's gonna want to take it the distance with violence. I mean, Charlie was a very peaceful guy. So watching it happen to him, knowing I couldn't get revenge for him, that was my first thought, was like, I'm gonna go down there to Utah, and I'm not waiting for anybody to do. You can't do my friend like this and us not get revenge. But the God in me said, Brandon, slow down a minute. That's not how we fight fire with fire. That's not how we fight fire with fire. Charlie Kirk wouldn't have wanted this. You need to compose yourself, be the voice of reason for the people at a time like this, and let's move forward and let's see how this thing pans out. But it was very heartbreaking for me, and to this day, I'm still confused at times. I have my moments where let's do it. I'm speaking all around the country. I'm fighting for Charlie's legacy. I'm fighting for Turning Point. But then there's times where I go, wait a minute. This really happened, man. Charlie's never coming back. And it's hurtful at times.
If you're craving more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics, check out our politics playlist right here. And if you don't want to miss any future videos, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.